Hey, Mike here. Welcome back to Uncommon Pallor. Just jumping on for a collection update. I had some pretty good luck over the weekend with some original pressings of old metal records. I know how much everybody loves to hear about original pressings of old metal records, so you're going to hear about original pressings of old metal records. But first, you're going to hear about my contest, because I have one going on. It's for 100 subscribers. It ends this Saturday at midnight. Sunday, I will do the draw and post the video, and one lucky individual will win a box of punk and metal records delivered to their door via mail from me. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, which is entirely possible, just refer to the last video I posted. It'll tell you what I'm looking for in terms of a response. It's real easy. I encourage you all to respond. It'll be fun. It'll entertain me. You may win records. It's a win-win. So, yeah, on to the records. The deal is this. I heard about a metal collection that was being sold in my town. By some stroke of luck, I got first crack at it. I went there, I bought some of them. I got talking to the dude, found out he was a huge Pink Floyd fan. As, you know, luck has it, I had a stack of fairly desirable Pink Floyd records that I have absolutely no attachment to. So I went back the next day and we worked out a trade, and now I have a halfway decent stack of old metal records. So, yeah, let's get into those. I only got one 7-inch out of the deal, but it's a banger. Slaughter, Nocturnal Hell 7-inch from 1986 on Fringe product. Classic Toronto thrash band. Definitely a precursor to death metal. Like you can hear that coming when you listen to this. This record, pretty desirable. Doesn't turn up a whole lot, but strangely enough, this is the second copy of this that I've found in the wild in 6 months. This one's a bit of an upgrade because the cover's not quite as creased as the other one, but the other one's still in bang-up shape. So, yeah, I have 2 copies of this. Never a bad thing to have a trade copy of a record like that. So, yeah, Slaughter. Perfect. Now on to the 12 inches. First one, UK kind of Doom legends, I suppose. It was always that kind of kept me from investigating them further. Like, I'd heard them in passing, but, I mean, the whole slow approach never did it for me. I was always into, like, faster, crazy punk stuff. But now, in my golden years, I find myself a bit more tolerant of the slow tempos. Personally, I just thought that they would always, I always thought they'd be a Sabbath clone, but they really aren't. Who I'm talking about is Witchfinder General. Got the Death Penalty record here. First pressing on Heavy Metal Records. There definitely is a Sabbath thing going on, but there's also enough of like a new wave of British heavy metal vibe that it breaks it up enough to keep my interest. And I mean, to be honest, I've played the shit out of this the last few days. I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for not getting into them earlier, but I think maybe now is the right time to investigate them. I may not have liked them even a year ago, or liked them as much as I do anyways. This particular one is red vinyl pressing. Pretty cool. Definitely a good start to the pile. So, yeah, Witchfinder General. I think it's from it's from 82. Next, from 83 on Music for Nations. Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer for me. Mercyful Fate. It's a 12-inch for Black Funeral. The B-side is Black Masses. I believe both those songs are on the Melissa LP. I love Mercyful Fate, and if I see their records anywhere, there's, no chance that I'm going to let them pass me by. This was no exception. Immediately went on my stack. Not as big a fan of King Diamond's solo stuff, but, I mean, it's okay. But Mercyful Fate, always a hit. Speaking of always a hit, got these German fucking heavy hitters. It's from 85. Sodom. They don't really need a whole lot of, explanation, really. They're pretty well known. This is the In the Sign of Evil 12-inch, their first one. This one's on, it's on Devil's Game, which I've never actually seen this pressing before. It's the first pressing, but I've never seen this one. I have seen that bowl cut before, though. But yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, Sodom's pretty much good all the way through their discography for the most part, but this and Obsessed by Cruelty, the first two records, that's what I go for. They're a lot more raw, and there's kind of more of a punk influence to it. That's what I'm into, but totally stoked to get this. Now we'll stay in 1985, and we'll stay in Germany. Iron Angel, Hellish Crossfire. Never owned this before, heard it lots of times. Always stoked to find a record on Bonsai that I do not own, of which this was one. Yeah, just fucking super competent speed metal. Totally enjoyable listen. That guy. But, yeah, I was happy as fuck to find this, to be honest. And, yeah, I've enjoyed it several times since. Next, going to Japan, 1987. It's a split release by Pussmort and Vice America. It's Gastunk, Under the Sun. You know what? I heard Gastunk tons, like back in my younger days, and they just never clicked with me. They're like a metal punk hybrid, kind of. No real surprise, since the band has members of like the Execute and the Comes in them. Yeah, it wasn't until much later when I kind of got on the same wavelength that you need to be on for certain Japanese hardcore bands. There's just some weirdness to them, kind of almost some cheesiness at times. Yeah, I'm a lot more tolerant of what these guys are doing now. I'm still not completely sold on it, but yeah, after a few more listens, I'll probably be more on board with them. But good record nonetheless. Wasn't going to flip past it. Next, on the Metalworks label, it's a record I actually had in the 90s very briefly, but I ended up trading it. It's Lord Crucifier, The Focus of Life. For some reason, I always thought these guys were from the UK, but turns out they're Italian. I didn't remember what they sounded like until I got this copy here. And then it kind of came back to me. Yeah, it's just some halfway decent crossover thrash. The only hard sell on it is the vocals at times. He kind of does the auctioneer thing and tries to jam too many words into lyrical passages, once in a while. It makes it sound kind of jumbled and clunky. But if you can get past the fact that he does that, once in a very long while, you'll be alright with it. It's not bad. I don't regret getting it. I think the name's cool. Lord Crucifier. Yeah. Next up, on Roadrunner. 1985, Los Angeles. Abattoir, Vicious Attack. I actually had this on cassette at one point in time, but I don't think I listened to it a whole lot. I think this band kind of undeservedly got swept under the rug with, the sheer amount of thrash bands that existed at this point in time. But this is actually really good. The vocalist sounds legitimately vicious. The bass playing in this is really cool. It's like, yeah, I like this a lot more than I remembered liking it. So I'm going to keep it out, give it a few more spins. Oh, those fucking guys. Now we'll stay in Los Angeles. This is from 1984. It's the Hellion self-titled 12-inch. I have a split 7-inch with these guys and Bitch, which is pretty good. That's kind of why I bought this. It's just really just straight up heavy metal. It's good. It's well played. Got Anne Boleyn on vocals. She's a pretty good singer. Nothing to lose your head over. But, yeah, no regrets buying this. No regrets. And here's one that was kind of a blind buy because I'd never actually heard the band, but I'd heard of them. And I remember their ad campaign. It's on Metal Blade. It's Sound Barrier. Speed of Light. Now, see, I remember this band because their kind of press campaign was the fact that they were all African Americans. It's like, ooh, an all black metal band. And it was, trying to make them all edgy and stuff, but You know, it's just like if they're a good band, they're a good band. Who gives a fuck what color they are or whatever, right? But I remember the one guy used to have like shotgun bands around his neck, which I always thought was crazy. This is their third record. I've never heard the first two, but apparently there's more. There's like funk in it and stuff, which makes me head the other way. But then apparently on this record, they got this guy, who was apparently Romanian, and he brought with him a big love of Iron Maiden, and so they kind of incorporated that kind of a style into their music. And this record's actually pretty fucking good. You know, it's just up-tempo, melodic metal. It's good. No complaints about it whatsoever. I have to listen to it a few more times, but yeah, it surprised me. I kind of thought it would be shittier than this, but it's not bad. Next up, Cryptic Slaughter. Fucking love them. First time I heard it, almost fell off my chair. It was exactly what I was looking for. Just fast, gnarly shit. This is a Dutch pressing, though. It's on, like, what is it on? Yeah, it's on Roadrunner, but it's a Dutch pressing, which I'd never actually seen before. But, yeah, fantastic band. Apparently they're, what was it, one of their guys, I think the bass player went on to play with Danzig and maybe Ozzy or some shit. And then, I also got their third record, Stream of Consciousness, which isn't nearly as good as the first two, but it's mainly because of the production thing. The songs are a lot longer, and, you know, in my opinion, Cryptic Slaughter, they're a short song band, but the production itself's kind of muddy, and the singer sounds like he's, you know, recording the vocals from a grain silo 6 miles away, so I think maybe a remastered version of this might sound better, but the length of the songs still, I think, is kind of detrimental to what they actually were doing. All right. From 1991 on Peaceville, band everybody knows, Autopsy, Retribution for the Dead. It's an original pressing. Only 3 songs on this fucker, but it's great. You know, it's super fucking like crushingly heavy. You know, huge death metal influence, obviously. But yeah, I enjoy this a lot more than I remembered enjoying it. You know, I had friends that were into this, and I was always like, it's okay. But yeah, it's pretty good. I've spent some time with it now, and I'm convinced. Now, continuing with well-known, amazing bands, Carcass, Symphonies of Sickness. Original pressing on Earache. It's the gatefold version with all the gore. Nothing wrong with that. Pretty stoked to find that. It was like $20. It's not bad. And lastly, from 1991, Wild Rags Records, Nuclear Death, Carrion for Worm, from Phoenix, Arizona. Band I've heard before, but I never really bothered with them. I haven't heard a lot of them, but I saw this and I was like, I'll take it home and check it out. It's half-decent grindcore with a bit of death metal in it. I like it. Apparently their other record, Bride of Insect or whatever, I've had people tell me that it's a better record, but I'm not sure that I've ever heard it. But I will now. I'll check it out. If I see it, I'll buy it. But yeah, Nuclear Death. So that's what I got out of that. I'll probably go back and buy some more, maybe on the weekend. I just didn't want to empty my fucking bank account, because that ain't cool. So, yeah, anyways, that's all I got for now. So, yeah, join the contest if you can, you know, keep on keeping on. It's fucking raining out, there's thunder. Awesome. See ya.